Hey planty people, it's Krista with Botanical Bird, and this week I want to talk about Hoya with you. So I'd love to show you the different Hoya plants that I have and then talk about their general care. So this one's for all of you Hoya heads. I think Hoya are, I don't know if I, okay, Lito. I don't know if Hoya are an up and coming genus or if they're already here, as in like they up and came. There's just so many people who love Hoya because they're such a hardy genus. They just really make a huge statement. So different things to love about Hoya. They are trailing plants, so you can have them hanging from somewhere or up on a high shelf and they can cascade down. They're different splash varieties. So I've never heard of another genus having splash varieties, but Hoya do, and it's basically when their leaves have little speckles of white, and it's just, I don't know if it's technically variegation, but whatever it is, they're making it happen. Also, just their variegation in general, I feel like Hoya really got variegation down. Like their variegation game is like roll strong. There are several different species of Hoya that have just beautiful foliage because of their variegation. And then their leaves are just so little chubby. Like they're not succulents, but their leaves are succulent-like. And so I feel that adds like a level of cuteness, right? Like they're not really thin and flimsy, but they like really have some substance to them, which is really nice. One of the bummer things that I find about Hoya are that their root systems are very delicate. So I almost try to never repot them, or if I do, I'm not going to try to break up the soil around the roots, because personally, I most definitely will be breaking more roots and doing more damage than I am good. So that's a bummer thing. And they like to be root bound and pot bound, so you can keep them in their pot for like forever, as far as I know. Okay, so going into the care, as far as light goes, Hoya love bright and direct light. I would say that they even could take a bit of direct light. I had one of my Hoya, the Crimson Princess, at my boyfriend's house on his balcony for a couple of months, and it was loving life, and it got direct western light, which is super, super strong light, and it just loved it. She thrived. I had to water her more frequently, but I think they can even take direct light. For watering, they like to dry out completely. Those thick leaves tell us that it's kind of succulent-like, as I mentioned. And as we know, all succulents and succulent-like plants like their soil to dry out completely between waterings. Another way you can tell that your Hoya needs to be watered is kind of feeling the leaves, and if they feel very thin and flimsy, it's about time to water it. For humidity, Hoya definitely love an environment that has higher humidity. So our houses are usually between 40 and 60% humidity level, and Hoyas love it to be higher. I have several of my Hoyas in my living room, and I do have a humidifier like off in the corner, but I don't really think it does a whole lot for the plants in this part of the room. And so I'm assuming that they're in typical household humidity, and they're doing pretty well. So I think that maybe they would thrive and live their best lives in an area with higher humidity, but they're doing just fine as they are right now. And for fertilizing them in their growing season, which is spring to summer, I like to fertilize them once a month with half strength fertilizer. So I'll just cut the amount of fertilizer per water, I'll just cut it in half so it's weaker than normal. Okay, now the exciting part of showing you all the Hoya that I have. I wish I could do this in order in which I received them, but I don't think I can remember that very well. This is my Hoyapubikalix. This has the splash I was talking about, so let me show you. You can see on their leaves, yeah, wow, she has a lot of really good splash. So all that, the little like white speckles, that's the splash. And I just love her because their little vines just go super crazy. And like ideally there will be nodes all along here and it will grow leaves. Also, I've never had any of my Hoyas flower that I've noticed, but their little groups of flowers are called peduncles. Such a great word. So Hoyapubikalix. Here's that Hoya Crimson Princess I was mentioning. She's probably one of my absolute favorite plants. She just, I don't know, she just kills it. And I got her from Walmart, I think. So holler. She just is the most highly variegated plant I think that I have. And so we're good friends. I love that her stems or the vines are pink. I think that's so cool. And then you get all of the crazy variegation. My little baby Hoya curtisii, which these leaves also have a ton of the splash. I'll show you. Like the whole thing is splash. Isn't that just amazing? And I like the shape of these leaves. They're very teardrop. I believe this is called a Hoya tricolor or a Hoya exotica. I'm not sure if those are the same thing, but this is cool because it has like outlining, white outlining on a lot of the leaves. So I find that really pretty. This is my Hoya Carnosa compacta. I just look at this plant and I'm like, wow, nature. You got it going on, you know? Who would think that this happens naturally? Look at this curly spaghetti sort of foliage going on. Super, super cool. I once had, this is definitely a replacement plant for me, or no, this is what I salvaged, I think, of a previous plant. I'm not quite sure. No, I might have gotten rid of the rest of the other one. Regardless, I definitely killed a Hoya because it had a terrible mealybug infestation, and there was just no way I was going to be able to get all the mealybugs out from all of these crevices. Do you see this? I tried because it was the beginning of quarantine and I had nothing better to do, but I failed. But I'm really happy with this one, and I do not see any signs, knock on wood, of mealybugs. This is my most recent Hoya. Let me just open its humidity dome. I just got this little baby one, but now they're starting to become more popular where I am, so I could have gotten like a really big full one for the same price, but I'm not mad about it. When she's full and lush, I will feel extra accomplished. But so she is a Hoya Chelsea. I feel like she embodies, yeah, gosh, those thick leaves. I feel like she embodies the whole idea behind thick, chubby leaves. I really love how wide they are, and let me give you a close-up. You can see this is what it looks like when you have new leaves coming in, if it'll focus. Nope, still focusing on my face. Okay. Okay, there's some new leaves coming in. There's some on the sides too, but this is kind of the front look of her. And I really like, there's a lot of kind of like deep veining, I guess, in the leaves, and I just find them a little beautiful. Okay, y'all, the Hoya Obavada is probably one of my all-time favorite plants. I think they're all also the splash. If you have a non-variegated version, I think that they all have the splash, but as you can see, oh, hello! That's so silly. So she was also one of my first Hoya, and gosh, look at just how large these leaves are. That's crazy. This trellis is made out of a tomato cage, by the way. I want to figure out how to get it to just stay centered instead of lean off to the side that has the vine. I love how circular and flat the leaves are. I think that it just looks amazing, and I'm hoping to fill up this whole trellis one day. I do feel like Hoya, depending on their light situation, are kind of slow growers. I did take several cuttings from this plant to help stimulate growth, and it totally did. Like this leaf, actually a couple leaves here, like this one that's got something wrong with it because it has, oops, a little divot in it. That was a new leaf. After the baby leaves started growing, it did go pretty quick, but I think to get the little baby leaves to start growing takes a while. So I did find a new baby leaf on this puppy that I'm gonna try to show you. Can you see this little thing? This little baby becomes these giant, beautiful masterpieces. So Hoya Obavada, one of my absolute favorite plants. So you know, when I found out that there was a variegated version, I had to have it. So I also have it in a humidity dome because it fits very well in there. Here is my variegated Hoya Obavada. It's definitely not to the vining stage that the other one is, but I'm really proud of it. I think the variegation's really pretty and it's nice to have around, you know? Hopefully it'll also grow to be a magnificent, majestic plant like my big Hoya Obavada. All right, y'all, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions about the plants that I talked about today or about Hoya in general, feel free to put them in the comments below. And I know there are so many species of Hoya, so definitely comment below with your other favorite species. I do not have an exhaustive list of Hoya. There's like 1,000 different types, so I'd love to hear which ones are your favorite. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Botanical Bird, and bird has a U in it, not an I. Follow my planty Instagram, which is at botanical_bird, and visit our website at botanicalbird.com. And remember, we're rooting for you. Bye.